You arrived here today because something guided you to this exact moment. Nothing about this is random. There are powerful moments in life when your heart slows down and quietly fills with questions you cannot easily answer. But deep within you, in that silent place where your deepest truth lives, you already sense the real answer. This is one of those rare and meaningful moments. What you are about to receive is not just ordinary information or empty words. It is a direct and powerful energetic response to what you have been quietly asking the universe for over many days, perhaps even weeks, in the hidden spaces of your mind. Today you will come face to face with the exact point where your deepest inner knowing finally meets the reality you have been waiting for. You have felt a unique connection that goes far beyond normal logic and simple explanations. If you want the complete truth about this person's genuine feelings for you, hit like right now and stay with me until the very end, because what comes next will shift how you see everything. You have sensed a strong magnetic pull and a profound bond with a certain person that cannot easily be described through ordinary words. At times during your most vulnerable moments, you may have believed that all of this was only a temporary illusion, a hopeful desire from your heart, or a dream created to escape loneliness. But today, there is one important thing you need to hear with complete confidence and without any hesitation. This love you have felt, this electric energy moving through your body whenever you think about this person, and this unusual sense of having known them forever is not imagination, not coincidence, and certainly not a story you invented for yourself. There have been clear, meaningful, and consistent signs appearing throughout your life, pointing toward a truth you may have been afraid to fully embrace because of the fear of being hurt. And today, you will finally begin to understand why this person truly cares for you. Even if their current behavior appears different on the surface, your uncertainty will slowly begin to fade as you recognize the undeniable evidence already present within your own soul. It does not matter whether you have recently felt a strange heaviness in your chest, or whether this person has become quieter, more distant, or harder to understand. I want you to realize that this silence is an important part of the larger message. Even though it may feel painful and confusing right now, when the universe confirms a connection between two souls, it often reveals itself in a way that your spirit recognizes long before your mind can comprehend it. That is exactly why you are still here, because you needed confirmation that does not come from empty human explanations, but from something vibrating at the same frequency as your spirit. Sometimes we work so hard trying to explain emotions that were never meant to be solved by logic, but instead experienced through a deeper level of awareness. What you are feeling right now is not madness, not anxiety, and not an unhealthy attachment as you occasionally fear. What you are experiencing is the very process required for someone destined to encounter a love that rises beyond the ordinary. A love that surpasses the boundaries of simple, surface-level relationships. You are now witnessing the beginning of a profound recognition between two souls that chose one another beyond the physical world long ago, long before you became aware of this lifetime. There is something the universe wants you to carry into your heart today. Your doubts are not being created by a lack of love from this person. They are arising from old wounds within you that have never been fully healed. When someone carrying genuine love enters your life with an energy that shifts your balance and with eyes that seem capable of seeing your soul without ever touching you, old pain begins to awaken. Your inner defenses respond automatically to what feels unfamiliar. The soul recognizes the other instantly and experiences it as meeting a mirror, someone essential for growth and transformation. Yet the mind, trained to avoid pain and protect itself, immediately begins constructing walls of doubt, fear, and denial. That is why you have spent so many nights lying awake asking yourself whether this love is real, whether the other person feels the same, or whether you are losing yourself by believing in something you cannot fully prove. If you have been feeling a deep soul connection with someone recently, comment 111 below and let this community know you are not alone in this experience. Still, the same pattern continues to repeat. Whenever you attempt to walk away, whenever you decide to close your heart, block the feeling, and leave everything behind, something invisible yet powerful draws you back. This force that prevents you from leaving completely is not wounded pride, not emotional dependency, and not stubborn optimism. It is the shared vibration of two souls that the universe has quietly aligned without permission, without logic, and without words. You have often searched for a clear sign. You may have stared at the sky or closed your eyes hoping for undeniable confirmation. And even though many signs appeared, they often felt too subtle to trust entirely. But today you will begin to realize that every small detail holds significance. That glance that quickly turned away when it became too revealing. That message that appeared ordinary, yet carried hidden meaning. And the way your energy changes whenever this person is nearby or even when they simply cross your thoughts. Authentic love born from a spiritual connection does not always announce itself through grand speeches or dramatic gestures. Very often, especially during the early stages, it speaks through meaningful silence. A silence that feels heavier than the words, "I love you." It reveals itself through awkward actions that may appear small on the surface, but conceal a powerful devotion that has not yet discovered its voice. Type yes if you want me to reveal the undeniable signs that this love is real, and keep watching because the most important part is still coming. Today, life wants you to understand something important. This person is not uncertain about their feelings for you. The one who has been uncertain is you. Not because you are weak, but because this love arrived during a time when you were still learning how to stand firmly within yourself and its intensity frightened you. When someone carrying the energy of true love enters your world, they do not shake your foundation to harm you. They arrive to awaken you, to heal you, to guide you inward, and to challenge the limits you once placed around love and connection. This transformation can often feel like fear, but it is important to understand that this fear is not created by the absence of love. It is created by the strength of what is entering your life. This person looks at you even from a distance, with a kindness they struggle to conceal, with a respect that comes naturally, and with a softness that only exists when the heart has already made its choice in silence. I know that at some point, perhaps even recently, you convinced yourself that this person was leaving forever. You believed their silence meant they no longer cared, and that their distance was evidence that the connection was fading. But the universe did not guide you to this moment merely to hand you another unfinished chapter or another painful wound. When a connection is guided by a higher force, it does not break because of temporary confusion or periods of silence. What is truly meant to be endures through uncertainty, through unanswered messages, through emotional storms, and even through moments when you begin to question everything. So why does it feel so chaotic if it is genuine? Because real love does not arrive to keep you unchanged. It arrives to transform you, to dissolve illusions, and to teach patience, trust, and faith in what cannot yet be seen. This chaos is often a sign of growth. It can be evidence that something outdated within you is falling away so that something more authentic can emerge. And one day, when the silence finally ends and the distance begins to disappear, you may look back and realize that every moment of uncertainty was preparing you for the depth of love you were always meant to receive. The answer you seek does not exist outside of you. It lives within the quiet struggle taking place right now between your logical mind and your deepest inner knowing. If you are ready to receive this understanding, then continue listening with an open heart, because what comes next may be the most important thing you hear all day. The reason you feel so confused, even while your soul seems to already recognize the truth, leads to one of the oldest inner conflicts of all. The heart often knows long before the mind is willing to accept. The soul can recognize a connection in an instant, while the mind demands evidence, certainty, and guarantees before it allows itself to believe. This difference creates tension. One part of you feels pulled toward trust, while another part remains committed to protection. The endless tension between the limited perspective of the ego and the vast wisdom of your authentic self is at the center of what you are experiencing right now. This confusion and inner turbulence comes from your mind encountering something it cannot fully explain, predict, or control. Yet, despite every doubt, something deeper continues to recognize and return to the same truth over and over again. It is a truth that does not fit comfortably inside the old definitions of love that you have carried throughout your life. Yet, every meaningful connection eventually reaches a moment where protection can no longer lead the way. There comes a point when growth requires openness and healing requires courage. The person connected to your path has been experiencing their own inner journey as well. Just as you have wrestled with doubt, they have faced questions, fears, and emotional barriers of their own. Not every silence is rejection. Sometimes silence is reflection. Sometimes distance is a period of growth. Sometimes people step back, not because they feel less, but because they feel more than they know how to express. Many of the strongest emotions are the hardest to communicate. That is why the signs you have been noticing continue appearing despite your attempts to dismiss them. They are reminders encouraging you to pay attention to what your spirit already understands. The connection itself has been teaching you something valuable. It has been guiding you toward greater self-awareness, deeper self-worth, and a stronger relationship with your own truth. Your ego is the part of you shaped by fear, old disappointments, and the instinct for self-protection. It follows one primary mission: to keep you safe from anything that could potentially hurt you. The moment this connection entered your life, your ego identified it as a possible threat. Because genuine love, the kind that comes from the soul, asks you to open fully and surrender without hiding behind defenses or control. Your ego, still carrying marks from previous wounds, immediately sounds the alarm. From this point forward, you must learn how to recognize the difference between two voices within you: the loud and anxious voice of the ego and the gentle, steady voice of your intuition. The fears created by the ego always feel urgent, restless, and filled with uncertainty. They appear as tension in your stomach, as endless overthinking, and as the need to check your phone repeatedly in search of reassurance. The ego says things such as, if they do not call today, they no longer care. It carries a heavy energy that slowly drains your spirit and leaves you exhausted. The voice of intuition feels entirely different. It feels like a deep inner calm, a quiet knowing that remains present even when doubts rise. Even when your mind insists that this person is gone, there is still a peaceful truth resting within your heart that softly whispers that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Trust the process, because this calm beneath the storm is one of the strongest signs that what you feel is genuine. If you have ever been betrayed or deeply disappointed, your ego naturally projects those old experiences onto the present. In truth, you are often doubting your own ability to hold a love this profound without being wounded. And that is precisely the lesson standing before you. The universe has placed you in front of this person and this powerful attraction so that you can finally face your deepest fears. What you feel is not only here to bring love into your life, it is also here to push you beyond your comfort zone, challenge your limitations, and make you reconsider everything you once believed about love and your own value. This love has arrived to elevate your awareness, helping you move beyond accepting tiny fragments of affection and instead embrace the fullness your soul truly deserves. Every time your ego attempts to sabotage the connection, it presents another opportunity to heal a wound from the past. When fear and uncertainty begin to rise, it does not automatically mean that love is disappearing. More often, it means that an old emotional wound is resurfacing so it can finally be acknowledged and released. If you panic, you strengthen that fear. But when you remain calm and recognize it for what it is, you remove its influence over you. Your connection acts like a powerful light, shining into hidden places, clearing stagnant energy, and preparing you to receive something greater. And remember, no matter how many times you try to walk away, and no matter how often you convince yourself to let go, something deep within always pulls you back toward the same feeling. This force is not a chain holding you captive. It is the shared vibration of two souls meant to encounter one another during this lifetime. Its presence is so powerful that even when you attempt to silence it with logic or fight it with fear, it remains like an invisible magnet, gently reminding you of where your heart feels at home. But one important question still remains. If the souls recognize one another so clearly, and if the connection is truly this strong, why does the other person sometimes seem distant, silent, or unavailable? The answer exists within the powerful energy created when two intense souls encounter one another. You must understand that this person is not simply a romantic partner. They often become your strongest mirror. Their arrival awakens everything within you that still requires healing, and just as you have been deeply affected, they have been affected as well. This bond is so profound and pure that it reaches directly into the most sensitive and unhealed parts of both people involved. For the human mind, which constantly seeks certainty and control, this can feel overwhelming and frightening. Because of this, distance is not always rejection. Sometimes it is a form of self-protection against the intense emotions your presence awakens within them. In this type of dynamic, many people speak about the runner and the chaser. The runner, often the person you love, is not necessarily running away from you. More often, they are running from themselves and from the depth of what they feel. They create distance because the emotions are so intense that they become overwhelmed by fears of inadequacy, fears of damaging something valuable, and fears of losing their sense of control. At its core, it is often the fear of complete surrender, shaped by old wounds connected to rejection, abandonment, or disappointment. Those old wounds may have created a silent promise within them never to fall into a love powerful enough to break their heart again. That is why their silence is not necessarily evidence of a lack of care. Instead, it may be a pause, a period of reflection, and a need to organize the emotional storm your presence has stirred within them. Your role is often the chaser, sometimes not through actions, but through energy. When you feel distance, your ego becomes afraid and urges you to reach out, explain everything, fix every problem, and prove your worth. But the pattern of running and chasing often creates cycles that make the separation feel even larger. The more one person chases, the more the other feels compelled to run. This is where one of the most powerful spiritual lessons appears, and also one of the most difficult. The lesson of letting go in order to move closer. The universe does not want you to suffer while waiting. Instead, it asks you to use this time to return to yourself and continue your healing. The runner can only return when they sense that you do not require them in order to feel complete. This carries a very clear, energetic message. As long as you pursue their presence from a place of fear or lack, they may continue moving away. But when you choose yourself, when you stand confidently within your own light, the balance begins to change. When you stop chasing and turn your attention back toward your own growth, healing, and happiness, something shifts. The pressure disappears. The energy becomes safer. The space opens, and slowly an inner pull may begin guiding them back toward you. This period of separation is not a punishment. In many ways, it is one of the greatest opportunities for alignment that the universe can provide. You spend time apart so that each of you can heal in your own way. During this time, old fears are cleared, old wounds are softened, and the chaos gradually begins to organize itself into wisdom. This process exists so that any future reunion will not be built upon attachment, fear, or emotional dependency. Instead, it can be built upon strength, wholeness, self-respect, and the conscious choice of two complete souls choosing each other freely. When you focus on your growth and cultivate inner peace, you break the chains of fear that once controlled your actions. You send a message to the universe that you trust your path, trust your worth, and believe that what is truly meant for you will always find its way back. Not through force, not through chasing, but through natural alignment. This is the only way the cycle of running and chasing can finally come to an end. The one you love will not return because they were pressured. They will be drawn by your peace, your strength, your confidence, and the energy you radiate when you are fully connected to yourself. Understand that distance alone has no power to destroy what destiny intends to unite. This space between you functions much like fire refining metal. It feels intense. It may even feel painful, but its purpose is not to destroy. Its purpose is to remove what is false so that what remains becomes stronger, clearer, and more enduring. The bond between mirror souls is nourished by honesty and truth. And the truth is that no matter how far someone appears to travel in the physical world, they cannot completely escape the echo of a connection that has touched their soul. This distance becomes an invitation to trust yourself. Trust the process, and trust the love that the universe is carefully shaping for your highest good. Keep focusing on your healing, because as you continue growing, the other person may be doing the same in their own way. Both of you are being prepared, refined, and gently guided toward a meeting that has the potential to last. And when that moment eventually arrives, the connection may feel so grounded and secure that nothing can easily shake it, because it will be built upon mutual respect, emotional maturity, and inner wholeness. If you still feel this person's energy even without calls, messages, or direct contact, it may be because the connection continues to occupy an important place within your thoughts and emotions. The small signs you notice each day and the unusual coincidences that capture your attention often remind you to trust your intuition and remain connected to your own inner wisdom. The love you have been searching for is not something you need to chase or prove. It is something that unfolds naturally when you align with your own truth. Every doubt you have carried, every fear that has kept you awake, and every moment of confusion has been part of a larger design meant to bring you closer to the love you deserve. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to convince anyone. You simply need to trust that what is real will remain, and what is meant for you will find its way. The universe does not make mistakes in bringing two souls together. What it starts, it finishes. What it begins, it completes. And the love that has been written into your story will not be erased by silence, distance, or time. So breathe. Return to yourself. Heal what needs healing. Grow into the person this love is calling you to become. Trust that the one who belongs in your life will feel the same quiet certainty that has been guiding you all along. The signs have always been there. The truth has always been within you, and the love you feel is as real as the breath you take. Never doubt that.